Hi, this is Demont, and you are watching Salesforce relationship. So, relationship between objects. When you are designing any data model or architecture of any application, it is very important to understand the relationship, how to create the relationship between two objects, and which cases you should create. There is one tutorials in our channel is called difference between master detail and lookup. You can go through that tutorial and you can understand how the master detail works relationship works and how the lookup relationship works. That will help to understand this video as well. Okay, so there are three types of relationship in Salesforce. One is to one relationship. So one is to one relationship between two objects. So one parent will have one child only. So one record will have one child record only. So this is the one is to one relationship in Salesforce. Then one is to n relationship. That means one object could have multiple childs. That means one record of parent object could have multiple child records, like account and contacts. One account could have multiple contacts. For one is to one relationship, one example is that one employee, for example, for my pay application, for one employee which holding all the details regarding the employee object will have one my pay record only. So it's something like for specific uh, specific MyPay application which holds the details related to any employee's payroll information will have only one record. So this is a simple application, simple example. So this kind of relationship we need to create. For this kind of relationship we have to create one is to one relationship. For example, you are playing one you are creating one cricket application. There should be one scoreboard which holds the details regarding the match, team 1 run details, team 2 run details. So scoreboard should be one object which will create one record which will hold the details regarding the match, run, ball, all these, and match should be one object. So for one match, one scoreboard. So that kind of one is to one relationship, in those cases one is to one relationship should be created. Now there is another relationship is that m is to n relationship. For multiple records will be related to multiple child records. That means x1 should be related to multiple y records, or y1 should be related to multiple x records. So these three kind of relationship is possible in Salesforce, which will satisfy all the requirement while to create the data modeling or architecture of any application. Let's go back to Salesforce for one is to one relationship. How we are going to create one is to one relationship? Let me give you one example. This is one cricket match application where one match is created. For example, India versus Australia. So this match is scheduled on a specific schedule. Okay, this schedule date. This. So on this schedule date, there should be one scoreboard. There should be one scoreboard. So for one scheduled match on a specific scheduled date for this object, there should be only one scoreboard, because for a specific scheduled match there could not be multiple scoreboard. So what scoreboard will hold? It will hold what is the total run for team 1, what is the total run for team 2, all these details, kind of match details. So this is the scoreboard details. So this is one record. Now let me give you one another example, like creating record match name India vs Pakistan. So you know who will win the match? Definitely India. And for first country it should be India, and for second country, oh, it's out of the map. Let me bring it to the map. Okay, so for Pakistan the day this, and one schedule date, so we create one schedule date as well. For example, schedule match name India versus Pakistan. Okay, for example 12th April 2019. Okay, and match schedule date is April 1912. Okay, so we save it. So we have the schedule date now. So we select this and match status scheduled. Okay, now once for this match there should be only one scoreboard, definitely, because which will hold all the details regarding the match. So we create one scoreboard. Okay, so this scoreboard holds all the details regarding team 1 and team 2 match status. Now if we try to create the same scoreboard, another scoreboard for this schedule match on 12th April, it will say that already there is one scoreboard. Okay, this kind of error should be thrown. So how we are going to do that? We simply create one field to the scoreboard, this unique identifier, name as unique identifier, okay, which is text field. Okay, and unique identifier properties should be unique. So you need to set the property as do not allow duplicate value and treat case insensitive. Alright, so it will hold the unique identifier and should be unique in nature. Now we create one trigger on this object, this, which will populate the match field, okay, scheduled match field value to this unique identifier. So whenever you are creating a match, it will take the Salesforce ID of that lookup from that lookup field and will populate to this unique identifier. So for example, if we go to the scoreboard here and try to see what is the unique identifier field is holding, what value it is holding, we can see it's the ID of this field, of this record, lookup record. Okay, this ID. Alright, so it's a 18 digit ID. So whenever we try to create any record of this considering same value into this field, it will say it will try to populate the same value into this field. Okay, and we'll throw the error. So if we go to new and try to add this here and try to save it, it will throw the error saying that this record already exists here. Okay, so you need to hide this field from the page layout, and still it will throw the error. If you try to create the value and save it, it will say this is the duplicate record already exist. So this match is already has one scoreboard. Okay, so this is the standard feature for this validation. You can use trigger to validate this field and throw a specific error message by using add error value add error functionality in the trigger. So there is another video, you can refer that, trigger error message. Okay, so this is how we create 1:1 relationship. Now going with many to many 1:many relationship, it's simple. You can use master detail or lookup relationship to create 1:many relationship. Okay, so this is account, and in account you can see multiple cases, multiple account multiple contacts is associated with. So it's having 1:many relationship. So whenever you create any lookup relationship to child object, it will create 1:many relationship. Alright, so this is how 1:m relationship is created. Now going with junction or 1:m:n relationship. So m::n relationship is done using junction object. So for example, I have one object presentation PPT. Okay, so presentation contains one presentation name as Salesforce best practice, and it will have multiple slide which I have to explain to some other people, to the students. Okay, so Salesforce best practices will contain these 3 slides. Now these 3 slides will have some content as a attachment. So this is one JPG, one file, for example one image which contains some information. So this image contains information regarding the data model implementation. Okay, now again I go to PPT. I am creating another PPT which will contain some information regarding the data model implementation, which I will explain to some business. This is not to students, this is for business. Okay, now when I will be explaining to business, I can reuse that slide, this slide, to that PPT. Okay, I can reuse that slide or the same content to that PPT which already has been used to Salesforce best practice. So slide will have 1:m relationship. So one slide is being used to multiple presentations. Okay, now this slide contains another PPT, another slide, this, which is related to page layout. Okay, and I have another PPT which contains the profile components, profile component details, how the profiles will be created, how profiles will be used, which contains another slide, slide 3. Now slide 3 has already been used in best practice. So slide 1 was related to 3 slides, sorry, 3 PPTs, was used in 3 PPTs, 3, not 3, 2 PPTs. Okay, now slide 3 also has been used in 2 PPTs, but among them one PPT is already common. So the relationship is becoming like this. That x1, x2, x3, x4, which is PPT, which are PPTs, and the slides are y1, y2, y3, y4. Okay, so x1 is related to y1 via this junction object. Similarly, x1 is related to y2 via junction object. So x1 will have these two childs. Okay, y1 and y2. Now y1 is related to x1 via j1. So y1 have one child x1, as well as y1 is related to x4 via x5. So y1 has two childs x1 and x4. Apparently y1 has childs as junction object, these junction objects, but it's creating m is to n relationship, so multiple to multiple relationship. Usually accounts will have only number of contacts as a child, but contacts cannot have multiple childs of childs as account. Okay, but still y is related to x1 or x2 or x3, and x1 is related to y1, y2 or y3 via this object. So it's creating one relationship, because you can query y1 based on the x1 reference, that x1 have how many, I mean how the x1 is related to y1. You can access the y1 details using the x1. Okay, you can access x1 details from y1 by making queries. So this is the junction object which is being related to. Now one consider that junction object needed to be created by using master detail relationship, of course. So whenever you are creating junction object, you always have to create master detail relationship. So this is junction object, and here we have two master detail relationship, one is PPT, one is slide. Okay, so one PPT could have multiple slides, and one slide could have been used in multiple PPTs. So one slide could have multiple presentations as a reference. Okay, so x1 is related to y1, y2 and y3. So x1 has 3 childs. Okay, as well as y3 is related to x3, x1 and x2. So y3 has 3 childs. Okay, via this junction object. So you can easily access the details of y1, that how many childs it is related to, that x1 how many childs it has as a y1, as a y object slide, you can easily access. So another feature is that, the interesting feature, in the master, in the parent, if I consider presentation PPT as parent, I can access child details into the relationship. So in the junction object, this is the child slide which is related. Now I can access child details into the master, that how many slides it is related to. Okay, as well as in the child, in the slide, if I consider this one as a master, I can access the presentation details here. Okay, so this is another feature of Salesforce junction object. Now if I delete slide 1, slide 001, the junction objects will be deleted, but presentation will remain as it is. Okay, because if you delete the master, the childs will be deleted. Now same as in presentation, if I delete the presentation, then this PPT slides will be deleted, not this slide. These junction object records will be deleted, but not these slides. Okay, so this is the significance, because for example in PPT, if you delete the PPT file, then content which you have added from will remain as it is. As well as in PPT, if you delete the content, the slides will be deleted, but PPT will remain as it is. So here everything is remain as a reference. Okay, so in PPT, for example, this is the content which is being referenced from some other server. So if you delete the content from the server, the PPT remain as it is, but content will be deleted. Now same as if this is reference, if you delete this PPT, the slide, this slide will be deleted, but the content remain as it is in the server, right? So this is the concept. So if you delete the PPT from here, the slides will remain as it is, but this slide will be deleted. So let me delete this one, for example. So if I delete this will not exist. Record deleted. This one will not exist, and this one not will exist, but in slide it will exist. Okay, and this referencing will be gone. Slide, it will be deleted. Okay, this is the concept. Now here as well, if I delete the slide, this slide, this referencing will be gone. Okay, but it is related to different slides, so it will remain as it is. Alright, so this is how it works. So again I said that, for example, this is one content, the image you are seeing. This comes from any other server, content server, and it is showing here. So if you delete this PPT, the content will remain in the server as it is, but this content here will be gone. Again, if you delete the content from the server, the content will be gone from here, but the PPT file will remain as it is. So this is the concept here as well, as a junction object. Okay, so in our previous another example, here in our cricket application, one player, Ravichandran Ashwin, will have multiple matches. Okay, and multiple, okay, these matches, and this match could have multiple players. So how they are related? So multiple players, that means these players, this player object could have multiple scheduled matches, and multiple scheduled matches could have multiple players. So they are related with junction object, this player for match. And for each and every junction object we usually use li underscore, okay, or we use item at the end, something like opportunity line item or case line item, something like that. So here, for a very simple example, multiple players like Ashwin, who is playing for India, like player is Ishant Sharma, okay, MS Dhoni, okay. So these three players, for example, these three players is going to play one match, okay, which is scheduled on 12th May 2015, okay. So there could be another scheduled match on, for example, 2016, okay, and those players are also playing. So multiple players are playing multiple matches, so it is aim is to end relationship. Now how do we perform the query, how do we access those child objects uh, in aim is to end relationship using code? So for that, let me show you. We open the developer console. For the anonymous execution, I'll show you. So we create a list of this presentation PPT. Let me maximize it. New list of presentation PPT, and here we use the query as select id comma, then we perform inner query, select id, not id required, we select the child details. So here the child relationship name as this object, and child relationship name we have mentioned here as this ppt to slide, okay. So we have to use this into the inner queries, and as a field we select slide details. So select slide, we paste the name object, this slide, this object name, this field name, okay, this field name. Then we use r dot name. So to access slide details of this childs, we use name, and if we want to use any other fields we can use that. So slide, for example, message or description, message, so we use r dot message from slide underscore underscore r. So we have to use underscore underscore r, not underscore underscore c. So it indicates the relationship name from this presentation c, okay, this. So select id from presentation c, where we have used the inner query as this to access this slide object, this slide object details, okay. So now we execute. So if you go to this, you can see the log that 3 rows has been returned and it contains all these details. Okay, so let's iterate that. How we are going to iterate that? To access that, we have to use for loop. For this presentation, this we use variable name as pt in this ppt. Okay, and here we debug system dot debug, then for example we use dollar sign, so it will access the ppt details only. So we set the name as well. Okay, and perform the comma. So ppt dot name. Okay, we can access name or id by putting comma, putting dot here. Okay, then we run another for loop for this one. So we need to get the object name here, not required object name, we use this relationship only. Okay, so relationship later, so we have to use the object API name. This one, this for each and every this record we use ps, which is the junction object. This is the junction object, so we access the junction object details and we access the slide details from there in ppt dot this. So ppt dot this contains this list which having a subject type as this. Okay, so next we need to put this here, then it will be properly. Then system dot debug, then we use this plus this ps dot this field slider name plus, then if you want to use any you can use this ps dot this slider message. Okay, then we execute. Let's see what happens. Sorry, it should be pt. Okay, because we are accessing list for each and every object, so one object and it list, so it should be pt. Okay, now we execute. Okay, it should be also pt. Now we execute and it will execute successfully. Now if we go there and debug, we can see this, that first one and second one is the ppt name, and for this ppt there is one slide, for this ppt there are two slides. Let's see. For this ppt, sorry, 2 and 3, so it's 2 and 3. Then for data model implementation there is no slide. Then for Salesforce profile components there is only one slide, is 003. S003. So it's working fine. So if you would like to add it into this list, so for example, if you want to access the slide R, then slide R, you press as slide C, and you would like to add in a list of string slide IDs, list of string, you can add here. Or if you would like to create a map of string comma, which will hold the ID of the PPT, and comma this slide object. Okay, this slide object. So because it will hold the record, so slide object API name is slide underscore underscore C, just to confirm, slides underscore underscore C. So it should be slides underscore underscore C. Okay, so it would be ID, this presentation ID, and its related slides. So it should be list of slides. Okay, now we initialize one list of slides here. Is equal to new list of slides every time the map is iterated. So before that, we need to get a list of slides. Here select, for example, ID comma name comma message comma description underscore underscore C from these slides. So this list, this all slides contains all the list of slides. Okay, now here we have the slide ID. Okay, so we run another for loop for slides is in all slides. Okay, so if s dot id is equal to this ps dot this slide, then this list will full with this slide. So yes. Okay, and now we are adding this here. Let's change the name map to ppt slides. Okay, so we change the name as this. So here this dot put pt dot id comma this slides. Okay, now let's debug this map. Alright, so what we have done, we have query in a inner query to get the slide details. Now we have created one map which will hold for a specific PPT ID what would be the list of slides. Okay, now we have created a list of all slides, and we have run the for loop for the returned PPT based on this, and have initialized one slide which will be instantiated every time this for loop is iterated for each and every PPT. Then we have run another for loop to iterate this list. Okay, and another for loop to get the slide details. We could have used map as well if required. Okay, so to just explain in details, we have used that. Now if we execute this, you can see for this ID the slides are this 3, and this is the description. So name is 03 is added to this. So if you add name here, you will be able to understand more properly. I add name here. Okay, so you could have used ID because that will be unique more. So for Salesforce best practice, the slides are this. Let's see. So 3 and 4. So slide this, not 3, 2 or 3, 2 and 3. So 3, and another slide is 2. Okay, and Salesforce profile components. For this, the slide name is 3. This name is 3. So this is how you can access, you can create the junction object, and you can access child details based on this. Also, if you perform the reverse, you can access for one single slide what are the related PPTs. So that is your homework, obviously. Okay, thank you very much. If you like this video, please subscribe and share with all your colleagues. Help them to understand what is relationship between what is the important of this relationship in Salesforce. It will help you to create architecture of any application and the data model as well. Thank you very much.